Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. I am Joe Gould. I am here with Adam Winters, and we're looking at a Garfield Christmas from 1987 and or 1991, of all things.
Why is there a confusion on the date? I hadn't heard about this.
It's two different shows.
What?
Two different scenes, or sets of scenes.
I was unaware of this.
I was unaware of it until I read the Wikipedia page. And
what does
then
the wiki say?
It says that it got re-edited, like everything else in this world, and you can't just leave things alone.
How in the world does this get re-edited?
So, how did you view it?
I assume I saw it for the first time airing on TV, either a network or cable, and after that, I don't know how I viewed it necessarily.
Okay, so it came out in 1987, and it played on CBS. It had its final broadcast on CBS in 2000. It's had multiple DVD releases.
Yeah.
And it's available to stream on most platforms. Some of them are free. I watched it on Tubi for this one. So we can get into the scene changes later, but I believe it was the same year they made the first DVD release. They included a scene that was cut from the 1987 version, just for time and spacing. And then they reanimated another scene entirely.
What?
Kept the audio, but reanimated it. So I don't know how we want to get into this. It's a 22-minute, 23-minute special. We could probably cover the basic plot pretty quick and then go in for details. But I like it. Garfield's great. Saturday morning cartoons, like outside of like X-Men and Spider-Man, my Saturday morning go-tos were the Ninja Turtles and Garfield.
They had a block. I think it was a 2-hour block where both shows got an hour each.
Yeah, I think it was 9 to 11. I want to say the Turtles were second in that, but I can't quite recall.
I think that was always the case, and it was just a whole lot of Garfield and Turtles, and it was kind of rough because I also like to watch other stuff, but at the same time, it was really hard to pull away from both of those shows going together on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, and eventually the Turtles kind of did their theme change, so to speak, and that show got a little harder to sit through for an hour after watching an hour of Garfield.
That's
so
fair,
I thought
too.
That wouldn't finish the 2-hour block, but you know.
Yeah, and that's the point where Batman and Fox was making a real push with their action shows. Batman and X-Men, right around that time, the Turtles tried to re-up themselves.
But yeah, Garfield Christmas.
Does that precede the TV show Garfield and Friends?
It does. So there was 12 Garfield television specials made between 82 and 91, and this was the 7th.
Really? This is number 7? Man.
Yeah. I can see us going and doing a Garfield series at some point.
I highly recommend Garfield's 9 Lives if you want edgy Garfield content. Actually, get the book, buy the book if you want edgy Garfield content. It's amazing they didn't make that into a live-action Bill Murray movie.
Yeah, I had a lot of those little Garfield books growing up. But yeah, this was the last one to air before the television show started, which started September 17th, 1988.
Okay. Huh.
I can't recall how many seasons that went, but
at least 5. I have them all on DVD, and I read somewhere they were trying to remaster the whole thing, and I have a bad feeling about that. I don't remember what happened as far as this remaster, upscale, or whatever.
Okay. So if you're not familiar with Garfield is a cat who lives with a dog named Odie.
But he's very
human. An owner named John. Yes, and well, the dog's not very human, but the cat, very human. Probably more human than John, the owner.
That's true. He has more of a life, oddly enough.
Yeah. So it's John Arbuckle. So you could say this is Garfield Arbuckle. But he wakes up on Christmas morning. Actually, the intro is a dream that Garfield has of how he views Christmas, which is gimme, 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 gimme.
I love that song. I think all the songs in this are winners. All 5 of them.
Oh, there's 6.
There's 6. They're all winners, even if I forgot one.
That means you watched the 1987 version.
I don't remember. I must have lost count. So we start with Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. We'll start with that.
Yeah, so that's the dream sequence. John wakes up. Garfield says it's Christmas morning. Do I got something for you? And he gives him lasagna.
Oh, he can eat his way to the tree.
Yeah, so he lays out the lasagna pans, which is a Garfield staple if you're not aware. And he eats his way to the tree. And then he has a magical Christmas chair that will read your thoughts and give you what you want. And John gets a new hat, and Garfield gets money, along with all kinds of other stuff as the song plays.
It's a very interesting way to start the special. Greed, avarice. It's very tongue-in-cheek, but it's not like Garfield ever gets called on this either. This is not an Ebenezer Scrooge story about, he's not a different cat by the end of this than he is at the beginning, for better or worse.
Well, he comes to appreciate what things are about. It's about being with each other.
Apparently,
As
yeah.
he says at the end, it's not the giving, it's not the getting, it's the loving. There, I said it. Now get out of here.
So John's family, the Arbuckle extended family, mostly the nuclear family, I don't know if they had been introduced previously to animation. I'm sure they were in the comic strip, but do we know if this is the first time his family is on animation? And so Garfield hasn't seen these people much. He has no reason to think he's going to enjoy his time on the farm, but he does grow to like the people.
I'm more familiar with the TV show than I am all the specials, mostly in the sense of I didn't have a list of the specials as a kid, so I don't know which ones I've seen and I haven't seen. So there's probably a good chance this is the introduction to them. And it is implied that he's been before and he doesn't particularly enjoy it. But yeah, so they're going to go to the Arbuckle family farm. John actually does wake him up from his dream. And Garfield's annoyed. And they drive to the farm. John talks about the Christmases he had when he was a kid. And he mentions, his parents, his brother Doc Boy, and Grandma. And I don't know what Doc Boy is supposed to stand for.
Is it a reference to the Waltons?
I don't know. Doc Boy tells John not to call him Doc Boy. And then we never hear his real name. And he accepts being Doc Boy the rest of the episode.
Boy, I didn't know he had I just thought that's who he was, Doc Boy.
I assume that too, but in this show, he says, don't call me Doc Boy.
Do his parents ever refer to him by name? Or Grandma?
Nope.
Huh.
I mean, they might call him Special once or twice, but...
Yeah, people make fun of John Arbuckle for, I don't know, being a bit of a... It's not really fair to call him a loser, because he's a successful, self-sustaining adult, but he doesn't have good luck. But, Doc Boy has it probably worse than John. John is a country boy trying to make it in the big city as a cartoonist, which I'm sure is kind of rough. He's sort of a stand-in for Jim Davis. Doc Boy is the kid who never left the farm, and you kind of wonder, that's got to be kind of rough, never leaving the farm. And
it's probably better that Doc Boy didn't get off the farm.
Okay, fair enough.
Based off how he's characterized in this show. So as they get to the house, Grandma and Garfield, they kind of bond over food and making fun of everybody else.
So the late great Pat Carroll, I think she only died 3 years ago. She was the voice of Ursula in The Little Mermaid, as well as a whole ton of other stuff.
Yeah, I think this was around the time that she got real popular in terms of voice acting. I don't know if it lasted, because I'm not real familiar with her overall, but I know she had a run.
I've forgotten her filmography at this point, but she's the standout. I mean, it's a great cast, but she's the best of the non-regular, not counting John Arbuckle, who I think was voiced by Tom, what's his name?
It's Tom Huge or Huge?
Huge. It's Huge. So he does a terrific job. I think he's probably still alive at the time of recording, but he voiced John Arbuckle for years, and he has excellent range. Also, the voice of Binky the Clown, so there's a little bit of a Binky Easter egg when the dad is reading the book, and I assume they dub in Tom Huge's voice for the dad when he does the Binky impersonation.
What a book. What a book to expose the moronic nature of your children.
I assume it's very similar to Ernest Saves Christmas, don't you? That's all I can imagine.
I don't know, I get Simpsons vibes.
You think it's a story of how the Simpsons would have saved Christmas?
I always considered Binky to be G-rated, lost his name.
Krusty the Clown. Krusty, right?
G-rated Krusty.
They do have some similarities. Every time you see Binky in the show, it's like this clown does not want to be here.
No, I think he's supposed to be like a demented bozo off WGN.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Oh, Binky.
So they do some random things around the house, like Grandma spikes the chili.
Spikes it with chili powder. Come on now.
Yeah. All while, Odie being all kind of slinking around, doing sneaky things like pulling plungers out of clothes closets.
Yeah, you do wonder how many of the people there are going to wonder where their stuff went after Odie built his present for Garfield.
Well, most of it's junk from the barn, but yeah, you might want the plunger. Who keeps their plunger in a clothes closet?
It's an extra plunger until the other one breaks. Yeah, they got one for Christmas. They hadn't used it yet.
Okay. Well, eventually they put up the tree. Garfield puts the star on. He freaks out at the top.
With some drama, yeah. Was that reanimated or was that all original?
That's original. The reanimated is at the very end.
Okay.
And then they sing some Christmas songs. And this is where you have the lost scene.
Jock Boy tries to play.
So you did see that.
That's in the official YouTube stream. When Doc Boy tries to play first, and the dad, he doesn't want to play, and the dad talks about however many years of piano lessons or piano lessons. They better be worth something.
Yeah, so the "Oh Christmas Tree" song was not in the 1987 cut.
Okay, I always remember it being there, so I guess that's the one I've seen.
Well, there's a 7-minute video on YouTube where you can compare the two versions. They got a little video showing the differences.
7 minutes. Wow.
Well, they talk about it too, but I definitely remember the scene. So I definitely was watching it on TV, and it was included, but it was not in the Tubi version. So if you want the OG, go to Tubi.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
And
fascinating.
That's what you're gonna do as soon as we get done, isn't it?
I guess.
So the grandma kicks him off the kicks him off the piano, and bangs out a jazz version of "Oh Christmas Tree," a semi-rock, and family's freaked out. And then Garfield's freaking out on top of the computer. Why do I keep saying computer? On top of the piano, as she dances off. The family's looking at her, mouths wide open. And then John, with a startled voice, says, "Ma, why don't you play the piano for us?" So in the 1987 version, though, that didn't happen. They plug in the tree, and they cut to the piano. Garfield's got his mouth gaping open, even though he should be on top of the tree. And John's got weird inflection and asks for Mom to go ahead and play piano.
What a debacle.
So it's a little bit noticeable when you watch it that like something didn't seem quite right. But after you know that they cut that scene, it makes a lot more sense.
Shame on CBS if they made that decision. But,
So then they cut to, basically it's Christmas Eve. The two men-childs are Heston to open presents because it's 1 a.m.
Hey, you skipped something. You skipped the moment of Pat Carroll and Garfield. They were bonding while the mom was playing.
Well,
it's a good
you're
scene.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Garfield wants to see where Grandma went to after she shuffled off after her little setting the ivories on fire. And she just kind of rocking in the chair, watching the snow fall, and she's a lot more subdued. She's not really sad or in mourning. She's just wistful and thinking about it. This is where the payoff comes from the little bit of line of dialogue earlier in the special when John asked her how she was doing, and she said she was doing okay or fine considering. It doesn't say what considering is, but when she's bonding with Garfield, she speaks to him. This is sort of my sense of what you call plausibility, because sometimes I lose track watching Garfield media of whether to what degree can the humans understand and communicate with Garfield. And usually John can read Garfield expression-wise, face or body. But, all of Garfield's dialogue, I think, is just him thinking to himself. But this is nevertheless Grandma vocalizing her story. And her husband died. Maybe during this year, I don't know how far gone, but she's talking about, how he enjoyed Christmas and how, she's still finding enjoyment in how much he got out of it. So it was a nice scene there.
Yeah, I blended that scene with a later one, but that was actually the scene that got reanimated.
Okay, something about to do with the shadows, maybe? I think I have heard that.
Yeah, lighting. So the first one is animated, like the lighting stays the same, not too many different camera angles. There's no picture of her husband.
Oh, okay.
And the shots are just a lot different. You get a lot more close-up shots of Garfield and with like her hand petting him, but not
the animators didn't have the content. They just faked it there, I guess.
Yeah. So it looks a lot better with the 1991 version, other than the fact that I don't know why the room is dark because they're in the same room as everyone else.
It could be a side room, right?
Her chair is by the tree at the final thing. I think it's supposed to be the same
trees. Got to be multiple trees.
Well, anyways, they George Lucased it. What can you say?
It's an improvement. I don't remember the like I said, the earlier cut.
I guess the feeling is they just didn't like how the first one turned out, and since they were redoing some things anyways, go ahead and reanimate.
Okay.
Especially since it was going on DVD and they wanted to sell some. So anyways, yeah, so you get the scoop on Grandma there. Then they read the Binky book.
They really give their dad a hard time in this movie.
They do. They actually reanimated his face also. In 1987, he's got this dazed look as they walk off. In 1991, he looks annoyed.
Oh. I would have been annoyed
Who shot first?
Well, this is an improvement. Yeah, I don't care about. It's one thing when you create a classic the first time, which Lucas does, but this is a good improvement. Does that get followed by they got to get ready for bed and then they wake their parents up at midnight, stroke of midnight?
But yeah, or 1 o'clock or something like that. And they're like, technically, it's Christmas morning. So go to bed.
When you're a farmer, morning starts when the sun comes up, right? So,
pretty much. And again, these are men who are allegedly supposed to be in their 30s. We would imagine. So.
Nothing wrong with being excited for Christmas with the family. You know what? It's all right. But yeah, it's a big no when you wake your dad up, stroke of midnight. Just be glad he didn't have a stroke.
Yeah, Christmas memory right there. But so then they cut to the fireplace. The cat and the dog are cooking by the fire. Then the fire goes out, and Odie gets up and pokes on Garfield to make sure he's not awake. Then he sneaks off to the barn. It was a mistake.
Yes. If you wanted to leave him sleeping, don't poke him right before you get up and go.
Pretty much. Especially when he's not in his bed curled up with his blankie.
Yeah.
So
Binky. Or what was it? What was the teddy bear name? Not Binky. Maybe it is Binky.
Might be.
What's the clown's name? Binky the clown?
Yeah, so it's probably not Binky.
Dang it.
I don't know. But anyways, Garfield wakes up and he looks around. He follows Odie out to the barn where Odie is putting some contraption together and Garfield's hiding in the corner watching. Then Odie
arguably
leaves.
The best song of the special plays during this whole scene. You can never find an elf when you need one. I love that song. That's great.
But then a box falls on Garfield's head. You can always tell when something's going to fall in a cartoon because it's animated in a different color than the rest of the background. It's loose, so to speak.
I mean, it's an individual box. They could all be different colors.
It's brighter than the rest.
Yeah, all right.
And old letters drop out, and Garfield's like, wow, these must be 50 years old.
It's probably 1940. What do you think?
Well, it'd be the 30s if it's 1987.
Well, he said about 50. It could be anywhere between 40 and 50. Whatever.
I don't know. But anyways, a bunch of letters, and they cut to Christmas morning, I believe, at that point.
And the kids are not up. The parents have to wake them up, shockingly.
Well, it's because they were awake all night long waiting for Christmas morning. Then they fell asleep at 4:30, just in time for Santa to come down the chimney.
The insomnia and the anxiety kids get from having to wait.
So they come down, and Doc Boy's in his bunny suit.
Yeah. It's very Ralphie.
It is. And that's when it really sinks in what his parents are dealing with.
So John has bunny slippers, I think.
Much more acceptable, especially if it was ones he had as a kid.
All right.
That just happened to be at the house. But there's no way Doc Boy's fitting in his bunny suit from being a child.
Maybe Grandma got him that for Christmas one year.
Yeah. Anyways, so they give out their presents. Grandma gets the bowling ball. John gets an oversized sweater.
What does Mom get?
I don't remember. There was
the
a lot
dad
going on
got
there.
A huge cowboy hat. John Boy got a little airplane.
Yeah.
That's what Ralphie's brother got. I forget
right.
the name of the little brother in Christmas Story. Oh, wait, he got a Zeppelin, excuse me. Maybe he also got an airplane. Wow, I get a Zeppelin! Okay.
And they're going to wrap things up, but then Garfield's like, hold it. And I'm sure they're all looking at him like, what is your deal?
Because again, they can't hear him talk. They got to read his body language.
Yeah. And he kept the letters over by the fireplace. Probably not your best location, by the way. And gives the letters to Grandma. And she opens them and she sheds a tear, so to speak, and says, this is probably the greatest Christmas present I've ever gotten. It's basically the love letters that her husband gave her when he was courting her.
Then all the rest of the family wants to know what he said. She ain't divulging the details.
No. This is an adult show. Can't be reading that stuff on the air. And then Odie the dog.
One's drunk, the other's not, that we know of.
Yeah, Odie didn't have any of the gravy. So
sausage gravy, by the way. Sausage.
He gives Garfield his Christmas present that he's made, a homemade back scratcher. And they get down with that thing. Yeah, I feel like Odie has kind of made it for himself, though. He uses a lot. He's scratching a lot more than Garfield does.
He gets a lot out of that scratch. It's a full stretch. Gets him breathing heavy. Made me want to try that thing. Man, tell you what.
I'm back. But yeah, and This is where you get a rare glimpse of Garfield being nice, and he gives Odie a hug, and he's gone full circle from gimme, 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 gimme to it's not the giving, it's not the getting, it's the loving. There I sit it. Now get out of here. End credits with a song.
It's not like he really does anything. He just wanted to see what Odie was up to, and he happened to find the letters, and he said, "I'll give them to Grandma," and that's all he wanted to do. But it's a very small stakes story, and I like that for Christmas movies.
Well, and it fits Garfield's MO. He's not working hard to get his moral point learned.
No,
You know,
he doesn't
he's
really
lazy.
care if anybody gets a moral point out of it either.
Let's see here. So basically, to make room for the cut scene, they trimmed down some other stuff. They trimmed down the drive from the city to the country.
Oh,
So if you, in the 1991 version, they basically start off on the road coming out of the city. In 1987, they drive through the city for a little bit.
okay.
And the scene where Garfield follows Odie, they just changed the sequencing a little bit to speed it up, maybe 5-10 seconds.
Okay. It makes a lot of difference when you're trying to fit commercials in.
Yeah. And then when Grandma's feeding the animals food during dinner, in the first version, she gives them a plate, they eat it. She gives them another plate, they eat it. In the 1991 version, she passes both plates down at the same time and they eat it.
So the dialogue is great between the dad and Grandma, because he doesn't seem to know she's passing it to the animals. He says, "You're really packing away the plates," and she tells him, "I'm eating for two now, dearie." And he thinks about it 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, I like that line. I just wish Odie wasn't under the table with Garfield.
Because he's eating for 3, right? Unless she's
Yeah.
not eating. She's eating for 3. She just wanted to
Exactly.
put that double entendre in there.
It kind of hits you that at some point these Christmases are going to get sad for the Arbuckles, as it's
That's
painfully
everybody's
obvious.
Christmas. Man, tell you what.
There's no heirs coming.
Well, John gets married eventually, right? Depend on your extended continuity.
Eventually, he's going to go to the farm to hang out with Doc Boy.
That'd be rough.
Ugh. That would be rough.
Yeah, John and
Who would read the
Doc.
book? Who would read the Binky book?
Go figure. Binky himself, they'd call him in. He does appearances in the TV show, I think. Binky does.
Oh, so yeah, Garfield Christmas special. It's a great show. It's kind of forgotten because it hasn't been on TV since like 2000. And the DVDs are hard to find. You can find it streaming, so it's not hard to find online if you're looking for it. But it's kind of one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of things.
I think it's a lot better than than some of the stuff that's on every year. Like, I think it's a ton better than Frosty the Snowman. When you compare the 30-minute TV special, I think you get the Charlie Brown. Everybody wants to watch that and show that on network TV every year. And I guess Frosty the Snowman goes into that status too. What else from that time block is on the level that Garfield has not been able to maintain, it seems like?
Yeah, and in Garfield's defense, it sounds like when he was first airing, he was paired with Charlie Brown. Respect to Garfield.
Okay.
And he got 12 specials, so he was very popular at the time. Garfield was popular. He was the animated Teddy Ruxpin, so to speak.
Huge surge for Garfield in the late 80s. And I think during that time, the IP of Garfield was making a transition from a newspaper comic strip character to a merchandising empire. Because he was on that
Everything.
That plush toy with the suction cups that people would put up in the back of their vehicles. He had the phone, and there was a famous story about a boat that crashed that was carrying thousands of Garfield phones, and they're still washing up on shores of countries to this day. But I think at some point he just became more of the merchandising over the content. But he wasn't. It's ironic because this was probably the creative peak of Garfield. Even though he was a merchandising phenomenon, his best years were still in front of him with the TV show, this special. You know, he already had the Halloween one, I think.
Yeah, so this came out December of 87. The show came out September of 88. The last special came out in 91. He probably peaked or was starting to decline by 90, I would guess.
Okay.
But this special was celebrated at the time. It got nominated for an Emmy. I don't know if it won. And then in 2004, TV Guide ranked it 10th on the 10 best family holiday specials.
I don't know if I'd go that high. Whoa.
Well, keep in mind that was 4 years after it stopped airing.
But again, like that's like is that every movie that you could put in a Christmas movie category?
I don't have the list. It's TV Guide. It's not exactly, they probably do a
I would
different
just
list
be
every year.
curious to know what's it most comparable to for its links, and it was made to be aired on TV. So I'd put it below Charlie Brown, but I would put it above Frosty. And I'm trying to think what else would be in that conversation.
Yeah, if we took all the Rankin Bass stuff and just ranked it from 1 to 100 or whatever it was, I feel like
Yeah.
if you threw in Garfield, it would definitely be in the top quarter.
Well, I like Jack Frost. This is much better than Jack Frost, even though Jack Frost is twice as long, because the music. There's no letdown in the musical numbers, and I think they serve to not only give you musical numbers, but to develop the characters a little bit too.
Yeah, it's hard to compare. The pacing is great in this. The animation is poor. Like it's not good. The animation is
It
not
doesn't
great.
demand a lot either, because the Garfield comic strip does not demand a lot visually.
No, and it's very simplistic. Even the television show had more bells and whistles than the special did.
Yeah.
And the contrast in the animation between 87 and 91 when they redid that scene is pretty striking.
All right.
So I think the animation holds this down a little bit. Even stuff like Frosty, very well animated. The Mickey Mouse Christmas, that was great. I can't remember the real name of it.
Oh, okay, that would
They
be
did the Christmas
comparable.
Carol.
Yeah, Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, but that's epic. This is not an epic show.
It's
Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol is
yeah.
epic. This is a very, very simple story. Like, there's not going to be an epic Garfield tale.
That's why the movies is not a great move. You should not try to make a feature film out of Garfield, in my opinion. Garfield is like a variety show, anthology series. You can just put him in stuff. He's really good for like 7 to 8 minute bits. And you just kind of string a lot of those together.
How are we going to rate this thing?
You could do Christmas stars. You could do sausage gravy pans.
Spiked gravy?
What about the bunny suits or bunny slippers? Man-sized bunny suits. Man-sized bunny suits. Yeah.
That works for me. Or we could just do Doc Boys. How many Doc Boys?
He didn't show up a whole lot in the TV show. It's a little bit of missed opportunity, but it was clear the show was more about Garfield's quote-unquote friends rather than John's. So that's the bit, I guess.
In the title.
And, that was mostly for the U.S. Acres segment, but Doc Boy, yeah. We'll do Doc Boys.
I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Doc Boys.
All right.
And it's really, like you said, all the songs are good. It's the perfect Garfield Christmas story. Grandma's great. The grown men are stupid. I don't know if I want to ding it or reward it for the changes in 1991. I think they worked, but it's just kind of, I didn't expect that. But yeah, 4 to 5. I'm mostly dinging it because it's kind of like the early Garfield strips. You had like proto Garfield style with.
He was way fatter. Yeah.
And
he morphed into a potbelly with skinny leg cat. Yeah. Skinny leg potbelly cat.
The animators getting their legs underneath them before they started the television show and hadn't quite got there. The backgrounds are just very uninspiring. But 4 to 5.
Yeah, I like that primitive style. For some reason, I just love the look of the dream sequence. Even though everything looks so flat in the background, I just like that style. It's hard for me to explain why.
They made it very clear that this is not real life.
So you're probably right. Even if you find the backgrounds uninspired and the rest of it, there is an intentional effort to make them look more believable than the dream sequence and how all that looks.
Oh yeah, there's very little color in the dream sequence.
So it's tough for me because when you talk about Christmas movies, I guess for me, somehow it hits a similar note of A Christmas Story. I talked about Ralphie and all that. And it's just something about, spending time with your family for better or worse, and that's all you really need. And Garfield comes to appreciate that, even though he doesn't really want to. Because, man, back when I was a kid in Christmas time, it's like, man, we got to go to another person's house. Not necessarily, maybe not Christmas Day, maybe not Christmas Eve, but just all these people, family members you got to go visit. And that you don't really know them because your parents know them because they're the cousins they grew up with or the aunts and uncles, but I didn't grow up with them. So for me, it's just like, okay, I'm going to spend time doing this when I really wish I could be using my holiday break to play video games or something. So I don't regret any of that, but I do appreciate it more now that I nevertheless did get to do that. And in some cases, I came to know people better and appreciate it. A lot of those people are dead now, so we don't maybe see that side of the family that we did as much. So not to get overly sentimental, but it just nevertheless this kind of Christmas special strikes a very nice note with me, and I find it infinitely rewatchable, very enjoyable. So for me personally, I give it 5 out of 5 Doc Boys because I just couldn't bring myself to cut a Doc Boy in half.
You know, and I hear what you're saying on you did all the family get-togethers as a kid. You know, there's tons of people there. You get older, and it kind of fades. If the family can't re-center the celebration around a new individual, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
the matriarch
most
or the
families
patriarch.
don't.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I think
that's true.
And I know I've experienced that thought, like, man, like it's just not the same. I think that's why it hit me when I was watching this special that, man, they need to really enjoy and appreciate these while they can, because John and Doc Boy are not making new children. So they need to really enjoy the ones they got left. Take care of Grandma. Don't ignore her. She's over there talking to a cat in a chair. Like, go talk to her. Be her friend.
Yeah, Grandma's great in the Thanksgiving special. I assume that came after the Christmas special, because I can't imagine somebody greenlighting, let's make a Thanksgiving special before we make a Christmas special. I can't see that happening. A little bit surprised that this came after the Halloween, right? Was this after the Halloween special?
I was not aware that there were 12 Garfield specials, so I got to go
That's a
back and
lot.
look at the list.
Yeah, I'm only aware of 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I feel like there's something we can go back and work with for a future season there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been Garfield. What's the name of the thing? A Garfield Christmas,
I
1987.
never remember the exact name of it. It's a little bit uninspired, but a Garfield Christmas.
Yeah, but if you're going to watch it, it's only 22, 23 minutes. Watch both versions. Then you can be a professional podcaster as well. Thanks, everybody.
Gimme, 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 gimme.